Okay, let me see if I can do anything about that. It's just low. You can hear my voice, but it sounds like the volume is low.
Yeah,
Okay, what about you? Can you turn up the volume on your phone?
I tried, and that's loud as it's gonna go.
That's as loud as it goes. Let me see if I
Yeah,
can
that's
do.
loud as it's gonna go.
Okay, let me see if I can do anything over here on that.
Wait a minute, let me see something.
How's this? Is this any better?
Let me see something. Okay, it didn't do much, but oh well.
Okay. You can hear me a little bit.
Huh?
You can hear me a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if since it's hard for you to hear me, I just want you to tell me how young you were when you started gardening.
Oh, I've always done a little gardening, but now I'm 50, so I'm gonna say now.
So, would you consider yourself a um gardener that has a lot of experience? Have you
No,
tried things and failed at any of your gardening?
yeah, I failed at some things. Bad soil, having bad soil,
Okay. Okay. So,
not knowing how to prep the soil.
how old were you when how long ago was that if rather than how
That
old
was
you
just
were?
last year. Last
Oh,
year was the
just
first
last
time
year.
I,
Okay.
yeah, last year was the first time I tried a garden.
You just tried gardening for the first time last year?
And
Wow.
already,
And what
I guarantee you, this
and
it's
how
not
many
hard, y'all.
how
It's not
many
hard.
how many different vegetables or fruits do you have?
Hmm. I have to slow down on my thinking process when you ask me that question because I came up thinking a tomato was a vegetable.
Okay.
So when you say that, a tomato is a fruit, a cucumber is a fruit. So I'm growing cucumbers, tomatoes, bell peppers, onions, peppers, squash, black eyed peas, purple hub peas, excuse me, not black eyed peas, purple hub peas, garden beans, hmm, strawberries. What else am I growing? Greens, collard greens, kale, Brussels sprouts. I'm growing a lot of stuff, a
Yeah,
lot of things.
that's that's a lot.
Okra. There's a lot of things I'm growing now.
So tell me, did you take over a garden or did you start
Now
a
I built
garden?
my own garden. I have a backyard, and last year I dug a. Oh, that space is probably 20 feet by 30 feet, and this year I dug it longer than that. But even when I did it last year, the soil was bad, so I just grew some tomatoes in it. And when I say the soil was bad, I had tomatoes, but they didn't grow a lot of tomatoes, which means your soil is compacted. And if your soil is compacted, it won't let the roots grow freely. So if the roots can't grow freely, it's just like you won't grow freely if
Mm-hmm.
you're bound.
Mm-hmm. It's like being
So you
choked
have to
out.
aerate your soil. Yes, you have to aerate your soil with either sand, peat moss, compost, and perlite, or you can use some other things.
So tell me what happened. I mean, what happened that you just suddenly decided that you were gonna plant something in the garden? I mean, did you
Well,
just
last year I just wanted to grow a garden just to see. I guess it was a spirit thing because it was preparing me for now. Because last year I was just trying something, because I heard, other Aboriginals say, indigenous people say, they wanted to grow a garden. So I wanted to go try to grow my own food. And that's what that was. So
do you
last year I just tried.
okay, so last year was the first time you tried and you live in a place where you can garden all year long?
Well, I live in Dallas. So we have two seasons to grow here. We have a spring and a fall crop we can grow. So we can grow for both seasons. We can have food for the winter, store for the winter. because it doesn't get cold in Texas like that, like it does up north, up down north.
Okay. So did you just start with like a specific one thing and then you just kept adding, or you started with a few things? How did you do that?
Yeah, I started with those tomatoes. I started with some yellow pear tomatoes last year, and I also had what else I had? Some cabbage. The cabbage came up real good, and the lettuce came up good. The tomatoes they didn't grow as well because, like again, I didn't know to put to mix that soil with peat moss. Like if you go in your backyard and you just start digging, that ground when it starts raining, even though you till it up, the ground is going when it rains, it's going and when you water it, it's going to compact down back to what it was. And when it does that, the ground, the soil is too thick and it won't allow your roots to breathe. So you need to put some peat moss in there, some compost, some some more well I said compost mix or some perlite. When you mix all those together, it lets that soil breathe. It breaks that soil up from the thickness, the density of it.
Okay. So the first thing you did is you picked a spot out in your yard
Hmm.
and you sectioned out a small section,
Hmm.
kind of not really knowing how many things you were going to plant, right?
Right.
And you did the tomatoes and the cabbage and one other thing. What was that? I thought you said,
Well, no,
what was
I didn't have it. Just cabbage, lettuce, and oh, I did have some peppers last year. The peppers came up as well.
it? Okay. So you just went to some place like a garden
Well,
center.
last year I did. Last year I went to Lowe's and Home Depot and got me some plants. But you can go. I mean, you can grow your own. You can start your own from seeds. All you have to do is go to Lowe's, Home Depot, or order offline. Get get seeds, whatever type you want, but make sure they'll grow in your area. Um, and most things will grow in your area. But if they grow in your area, sometimes you can even get containers to put them in, or even raised beds. You can build your raised bed on top of the ground. Just go get you some 2x4s, cut them into whatever size you want. Uh, put a piece of cardboard on the ground first. Put that 2x4, your what you just built. Put it on top of the cardboard, and throw you some how I told you to mix that soil, compost, peat moss, and pure light, and you can mix that together and throw that into your into that raised bed, and then start planting right into it. What that would do then is, as time progresses, that soil that you put in there, it's gonna deteriorate, make that cardboard deteriorate. So then your ground is gonna come back into one, solid ground. So nutrients will be in your soil like that as well, and then your ground will become part of your bed will become part of your ground. You never had to dig a hole or anything. All you have to do is just build a flower bed or build a raised bed. Excuse me.
That's interesting now. You're saying that you can basically take two by fours and build a frame, and
Hmm.
at the bottom of that frame would be cardboard,
Hmm.
and then you're going to put your soil in there and plant,
Right.
and that the cardboard will deteriorate, and you will then have the soil attaching it. In other words, it's like a patch of grass that you put on the ground.
Hmm.
It's going to actually um
That cardboard is going to turn back into the earth because paper is the earth.
mhm
So it's just going to deteriorate back into the earth. Worms are going to eat it. It's
mhm
just going to turn back into the earth.
mhm that's interesting. Okay. So, meaning that you don't have to really dig down into the ground to start a garden.
No, you don't. No, you can also plant in containers. Go get you some 5-gallon buckets or some just wash buckets from Walmart. Anything that'll hold dirt, but you want to drill some holes in it. If you can drill, but you want to be able to get anything that you can drill holes in the bottom, something that water will drain out, so the
Mhm.
water don't hold and rot your roots.
So how far down? So you say 5 pound bucket, and I'm thinking that's probably 12 inches tall. So does it have
Probably
to be
24 inches tall, maybe.
24? Okay. So does it have to be um how far down do you have to go to plant a seed?
Depending on what you're planting. For most stuff, you just want to go an inch, not even an inch, a half inch down. But as far as tomato plants, you could start them from seedlings, but about as far as a 5 gallon bucket, you put you about 1/3 parts dirt in there, soil in there, and plant your plant you some seeds. I would just plant 2 or 3 seeds in there, and once they come up, what you can do, don't plant them by each other. Plant them in, like a triangle inside the bucket. And what you do, as once they start growing good and taller, what you were going to do is add some soil to them. And every time you add soil to them, that makes that means you're covering more of the stem. And the more of the stem that you cover on tomato plants, the more roots you get, which
Well,
means the
that makes
stronger the plant
sense.
are holding the ground.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I could picture that.
Yeah.
Have you planted in anything other than the ground?
Yeah, I have some
Oh,
okra. I have
okay.
some okra.
Wait a minute. I just want to tell you, Redbird just came in and he says Akichiwa.
Get you wild. What's up, Red Bird?
Akichiwa, Redbird. So, all right, I'm getting some lessons here, Redbird, because I'm gonna go for it soon.
I
Now,
love
I'm
Red
hitting.
Bird. Red Bird, that's funny that you just came on. We doing this live and we was just talking about you earlier.
Yes, yes, talking about the birds. So, um, what I'm gonna say is that he's chilling and cooking. He says, okay. So, all right, I was asking you if you had yourself planted something in a bucket or something other than the ground itself, and I think you were saying okra.
Yes. Well, no, I didn't plant okra. I did seed some okra this season, but I thought that's what you were asking me. But as far as planting anything in containers, yes, I have a lot of stuff planted in containers. I have, when I say containers, it's either clay flower pot or container, plastic. But yeah, I have tomato plants. I have black Korean tomatoes. I have, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Cherokee purple tomatoes. Those are, the names tell you what that is, Cherokee purple. Then I have big beef steak tomatoes planted in a big flower pot. As far I have strawberries planted in containers. I have blueberries planted in containers. I never even took the blue. Yes, I did. I took the blueberries out and put them both together. Had 2 blackberry plants. I'm sorry, but I do have a blueberry bush as well. I just planted it off in the ground.
So a planting in containers is very attractive to me because in my mind, having never gardened before, I've only watched my grandmother garden before, my great grandmother at that. So I was a small child. But what comes to mind for me is that I live in a place, I live in Chicago, and it gets cold here. So it makes me think that maybe if I plant in a container that it can be moved, maybe it might be a good idea because maybe I can move them around. I'm
Hmm.
thinking, I'm asking you though,
Yeah, you
is
could
that
move them around, but
possible?
you're not gonna want to move it around. You're not gonna
So,
really want to move it. You could move it around though if you wanted to, especially if you had it on something in the road. It'd be
mhm,
easier for you because there's so much dirt gonna be in there. You might not want to move it around.
okay. Okay, so in a place like Chicago where it's seasonal for people who might see this and think, it's no way I could do that because of the kinds of conditions. The weather doesn't permit me to do gardening. Do you have some suggestions?
Start your herb garden. A lot of herbs like cooler climates, but that's nothing. That's real fast. You get some. They'll start coming up in 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay. Oh, my
Your
sister.
spinach and your kale, that'll come up real fast.
Okay. Okay. My
But
sister.
all of them, to me, all of them seed fast. I'm just saying that. I'm here in Texas though, so all of them come up fast. To me.
Yeah, because you're in the climate
because I'm in a
that,
warmer climate.
yeah. My sister is here with me. She was saying she had a question, so let me see what her question is.
Hi guys.
He can't hear that well
Okay, well,
because
hello. Anyway, I wanted to ask because even in Texas or in hotter, warmer climates, isn't there a planting
yeah, he
season
says they have two in Texas.
too in
Yeah,
Texas?
two planting seasons in Texas.
And what are those?
When are the planting seasons in
In the
Texas?
fall and the spring.
Okay, the fall and the spring.
So in the
Hmm.
fall they could also plant. Is it
Hmm.
any particular thing that they could plant in the
Are there
fall
different
versus
things that you can
spring
plant in the fall that you would never plant in the spring,
or in the spring?
Mm,
or is it all the same?
watermelon.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
certain crop won't grow because it's out of season.
And I think about like planting, and I would think like if you plant a watermelon, how long does it take to get a good sized watermelon to grow?
Oh, it says it on the back of the package, and I believe it's like 90 days. And I believe it
Wow.
is.
Okay. So you start realizing some good stuff pretty quick and when you start
Yeah, you're
gardening.
gonna see it though. It's. I love it because it's just nature, and I love just watching the stuff come up. You know, and
Yeah.
knowing I can take care of a plant.
So tell me this.
That's my
Do you
main.
remember how you felt the first time you saw something come up that you planted?
I was happy because I didn't think it was gonna grow.
Do you remember
It's just like
what do you remember exactly what it was and
oh, it was a tomato plant.
oh,
It's
it
just
was
like
the
now.
tomato? Mhm.
Yeah, just like now. I see all these tomato plants that I have, and I got a lot of tomato plants. I know I overplanted, but I just did it because I can give it away. I don't care if I give it to you or whomever, just as long as you take care of it.
Mhm.
Grow it. It's your food.
Yeah. So what about stuff like fertilizing?
Fertilizer for your garden. Let me tell you what a best kept secret for fertilizer is:
Yeah.
coffee grounds, spent coffee grounds.
Mhm. Okay, I heard some things about
What you
coffee
do is
grounds. Yeah.
you can put spent coffee grounds on a bed that you're not that's doesn't have it's not neutral it's not good earthworms that may be dried out. Well, you can put some coffee grounds in it, and they'll come back to that ground because they love coffee grounds.
Well, wait a minute. Now, you're talking about worms, and I hadn't heard you say anything about worms yet. So, what
The
about worms?
no, that worms are organic. They help your garden grow. They
Mhm.
help everything in your garden make it natural. You want
Okay.
that. They help your compost piles and everything. Worms. So you get you some coffee grounds from your local, stores, coffee stores. They don't want them. They throw them away and
Mhm.
put them in your garden. You don't want to put a lot of it, but just put it on the top of your garden. But for a garden that doesn't have anything in it, you can put a lot of it in there, and it'll bring the earthworms back over to that spot, and they'll stay in that area because they'll make that area fertile again.
So you just kind of sprinkle it around on top, topically. You just
Hmm.
sprinkle it
Oh yeah,
around.
and in a bed that you're not using, yeah, you can sprinkle a lot in there. But one that you're using, you want to just sprinkle it around in there.
Okay, so if
'Cause-
I were starting a garden and in a pot, a bucket, the painter's bucket, um, would I want to mix the coffee grinds down into the whole pot with the dirt and did you say mulch and dirt?
I'm gonna tell you something. That is one of my experiments right now. I'm gonna see if this grows because I just did that. I mixed some potting soil, and I mixed some spent grounds in there with it, and I'm gonna see. And I just planted some 2 days ago, so that's a question that I'm not for sure, but I'm gonna
Mhm.
try it because I just tried it, and I'm gonna see if they come up. I'm gonna see. But also, there are things like aspirin. If you want to grow multitudes of tomatoes, what you do is get some aspirin, some just regular aspirin, uncoated. Grind them up in a blender, pour a cup of water in there, put that into a sprayer, and spray your tomato plants.
Make them
And
nice.
what that does, It fools the tomato plant to thinking it's under attack, and it promotes growth,
Oh wow.
and it builds an immune system for the tomato plant.
Okay. Now I know that you're not at home at your garden right now, so you can't
Right.
show us some of what you're doing, but I'm gonna look forward to like a next time really
Yeah.
soon that I would like to, see some of your garden.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna show you.
my sister is asking, did you plant any trees?
Yeah, I planted not shade trees. I planted nectarine tree that's got about 20 nectarines on it, and it didn't have anything on it. And I just got that tree this year, and it has grown tremendously. And I just planted an orange tree. What,
Orange.
Tuesday,
Right.
Wednesday?
Wow. So how far down do you have to dig to plant trees?
I have clay soil, so if I go 2 feet down, my soil is clay. So what I do, even if you have clay soil, what you have to do is put that soil, the soil that you mixed up, dig the hole bigger than that. Bigger than the pot that you bought it in. Dig it
Hmm.
2 times bigger than that, and put your soil in it, and then put your tree in there, and then, you know, fill it back up with the rest of the soil that you just made.
Okay. So with the
And
garden,
then you take you, and
okay,
then I'm
you
gonna
were
tell you
listening.
another secret. Take
Mhm,
you some 511 fish fertilizer you get from Home Depot, or
mhm.
seaweed fertilizer, same thing, and you put that on your. You only gonna use a cap full, and like you can use how much you want, not, but I'm just telling you a cap full to do because it's supposed to last. But it's just fish guts in a bottle, and you put it in some water, and that feeds and nourishes your plant as well. That's fertilizer as well. And that's
So
real
so
good
you put it in
fertilizer.
some water and this is not something you spray. This is something you pour down
Maybe
at the
something you
root.
pour, yes.
Yeah, pour
And
down.
even for house plants, if you want your house plants to turn green, they love spent coffee grounds. Just don't put a whole bunch, but you can just sprinkle some in there.
You downstairs? Okay.
Okay, wow. Now this is all very interesting. I do really look forward to going and getting my bucket. And so tell me again a starter kit. What is my starter kit going to be if I want to do? I want to get 3 buckets and plant 3 things
You're gonna
that
need some,
well, I got to tell you some more. That if I
yes.
should move, I want to take them with me.
Okay. Depending on how big they are. Because if they're in just 5 gallon buckets, sure, I'm sure you can move it. But it just depends now. If you move when that tomato plant is 6 feet tall,
Oh, I
you can
really
move
didn't
it.
realize they get 6 feet tall.
You know what
So
I'm
a
saying?
tomato plant can grow 6 feet tall out of
Oh
a
yeah,
bucket,
they can go up to 25 feet tall.
out
It
of a
just depends on
bucket.
how you take care of them.
Wow. Well, okay. I want to. Okay. So okay. I want you to think about that for a minute. I got to go back to your garden. I want to know how much time you spend in your garden.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. They don't say tend to a garden for nothing. If you don't tend to a garden, it's not gonna be a garden. It's gonna be a weed patch. Hey, Heaven, how you doing?
So you got to spend a lot of time in the garden. Then I imagine. How
Yeah,
how
yeah.
how how about how much
Not a
time you?
lot of time. Not a lot of time. You just have to. You're gonna want to spend a lot of time because it's nature. Your nature. You're natural. You're gonna want to go out there. You're gonna want to look at your plants. You're gonna want to see if they're coming up and what they're doing. You're just gonna want to do it. It's just like they're gonna be like your children.
I can imagine. I have tried some plants, but I tell you, I tried plants in an office atmosphere, and because I was in that office a lot, I could tend to them a lot, and they grew well. But when it came down to at home, I had a very difficult time uh, growing plants because I was on the go a lot, and I wasn't tending to them as much.
Oh, plants are like us. They like energy.
Hmm.
So if the energy ain't right, they ain't right.
Hmm. And they don't like to be moved as it appears.
Not all the time.
Yeah. So, okay. So the three buckets. So one could be a tomato plant.
One could be a pepper plant, and one could be
And they break it down so if you have some
a
as
bell
well.
pepper plant.
I mean,
Okay. Okay.
And
And
at the bottom of those, and at the bottom of them, you could put onions around them, or you could put some spinach around them. But
and
also check
that
out,
can be in the same bucket.
yeah. Sometimes we also have to look at there are flowers that could go with those tomato plants that attract bees that pollinate the flowers even of the tomato plant. So sometimes there are flowers that go good with them too.
Okay, so I'm thinking
Have you ever heard of nasturtiums?
no.
Nasturtiums are flowers that you can eat. So if
Okay.
you can plant nasturtiums around tomato plants,
In that
and
kind in a 5 gallon
there are
bucket.
multitudes of nasturtiums, huh?
I said, and I could do that even though it would be in a 5 gallon bucket.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, could it be green tomatoes?
Can I? What'd you say?
Could it be green tomatoes or is it a
All tomatoes are green. They just take them off the tree before it's time.
oh okay. Okay. I didn't realize that. I thought that green tomatoes
Yeah,
were
they're
no.
just green tomatoes are just unripened tomatoes.
Okay. Okay, so you see how far I am. Okay, I'm with
No,
this
you good.
really.
You good. You
Okay,
good. We just haven't been using this side of our brains. That's all. You good.
okay. All
That's
right.
all.
So what else will I need? I'm going to get the 3 5 gallon buckets, and what else would I need? How
You're
much?
gonna need
How
some.
much?
Those buckets are probably like $3 a piece. Maybe at Home Depot, somebody might have some buckets laying around. You
Mm-hmm.
got flower pots. Somebody got some big flower pots. I'm pretty sure they're not using.
Mm-hmm.
I actually got two big giant flower pots out of my homeboy's neighbor. She was moving. She was throwing them in big dumpster. I just went over there and got all that stuff out of there.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna tell you what else I got out of there. I got a mirror. I turned the mirror. I'm going to turn the mirror upside down. I might even show y'all what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna turn the mirror upside down.
I'd be
And
glad to. I'd be
I'm gonna
glad
take
to
the glass.
see it.
Hmm?
And I said I'd be glad to host that if you don't start your own channel by then.
Oh, I ain't. Nah, I'm good. Nah, if I start a channel, it'd be later on. I'm not. I'm not savvy with that yet.
Okay. Well, I'll be glad to host, I can just like for example, I can actually
Hello.
I was David, I was trying to see if I could remove myself and you still hear me, but I forgot. I can't do that. But I think that there's a way that I can make me smaller so that you could be. I don't see how I could do that though. But what I'm trying to do is figure out a way that I can host you and just kind of be out of the way while you do do a show here and show what you like to show, and I could just co-host it. So what I would do is you wouldn't be able to hear me, so you just I would be listening in, and you could just tell me when you want me to come back up, and then I could host host a show for you in that way. So are you going to surprise us with what you're going to do with the mirror?
Yeah, I'll show you. I sure will.
Okay, is it going to have something to do with gardening?
Because I just had this idea the other day, and all it is a mirror that was
Okay.
on the back of your dresser. You know those old wood mirrors. Some of them
Yeah.
encased with the wood is on the outside, and the wood kind of extends forward. Man, I want to show y'all this bird. Look,
Okay, I hope Redbird's still with us because okay, now I can't see it yet.
hey, birdie.
Is he in the tree? Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't see him
Did you
until
see
he
him?
flew. Yeah, I saw him, but only when he flew. I couldn't see him before then.
Man, that was for you, red bird.
He's still probably with us. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so I'm gonna have 3 buckets. How much soil do I need? Should I go right out and find some soil?
You probably could get away with getting 2 bags of soil. You get the 2 big bags of soil.
Okay. And my sister was saying, what about totes, like plastic totes? Can we plant
You could
in?
even do that. Yes, you could even do those totes. You could do
Mhm,
plastic bags, anything that'll hold water. But when you do those bags, it's okay to do bags because what you want, you can put herbs in those bags. But some of the stuff you need to have water that flows through. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want
mhm,
to water too much if you use those bags to where you're filling the bag up with water and it might explode on you in your house.
mhm,
So you don't want to use too much. You just want to water it. You know what I'm saying?
mhm. And is it a certain place that I have to sit so how much dirt then? How much of the soil do I need? Is it a difference
Well, you probably
between
want
dirt and soil?
when you mix that up, you want compost. You don't want dirt.
Okay.
You want compost mix. You want Purelite, Perlite,
Mhm.
Purelite, and you want some peat moss, Peet moss, MOSS.
Can I get all of these things at Home Depot?
Yeah, and you want the peat moss. It's gonna be $10 and something for a big 64-pound brick.
Mhm.
It's like peat moss in a bag. It's compressed. So when you take it out the bag, it's gonna be way more than that what's in that bag.
Okay.
So you could just break off a piece, and you'll see what I'm talking about. If you broke it off, you'll see how you just mash it up in your hand and it'll turn like almost like dirt. But it's
Okay.
finer than dirt and it's not dirt. And so what you do is you mix that with your compost and you mix that with that pure light. You want to use all 3 together and mix them up evenly because you don't have to use all that pure light in there. You just need to use some pure light. You need to use enough, but not all of it, and to
Mhm.
mix in there.
Mhm.
Maybe I could show it to you, but I need to get some more pure light, and so I do need to go get some more compost anyway.
Okay. So pure compound, pure light
Compost,
compost. Compost
compost mix,
mix. Compost mix, pure light and peat moss.
moss. Yeah,
Okay. Uh okay. And so I heard you
and if
say
you went to and if you wanted to, if you had a backyard and you wanted to grow a garden, what you also can use is sand. If you had enough sand, you would have to measure it out, and you would mix sand with your dirt that's in your backyard, and that would aerate your soil as well. When aerating just means so your roots can move freely. It's not like it's air down there. It's just the fact that they can move freely
mhm.
and they
Can
can
I
breathe. There's more oxygen in it.
could it be beach sand or like there are beaches in Chicago? Could it be just go and get
Yeah,
some
just
beach
sand.
sand?
As long as it's sand, because it's gonna mix with the dirt.
Would that be it
It's
opposed
gonna mix with the soil in your backyard.
in the
It's just mixing
backyard?
together,
Okay.
and it
Oh,
makes it lighter.
okay. Okay. Um,
Not light. It makes it lighter also in color, but it also makes it lighter where
yeah.
the water drains freely.
Yeah. And okay, I don't want to do the ground gardening yet because I don't want to confuse myself. Although I do have questions because I was thinking, how far down do you have to dig in the yard?
Mm. You don't have to
Um,
really dig down, like I said, but you don't really have to dig down that far if you don't want to. But you could also just get the top layer of grass off, and start putting down some compost mix and some just the soil I just told you about. Just pour it on the top of what you break up. You could do it like
mhm,
that.
mhm. Okay, well, I'm gonna just start
But
with the
I
three,
like to
three
use it in the bucket
buckets.
because sometimes those roots grow down so far and they get root bound. So that's why I like to do the compost deal or the sand.
Hmm. Well, what about if I do it can I do sand in the bucket as well? Or
No, that would probably be good to do
I
all
don't need
sand
to
and all.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't. Yeah, I don't think it has enough nutrients in that sand, so get you some compost.
Okay. Okay. So then, okay. So I got that, and now let's talk about the seeds. So how I just like pick a pack of seeds up at the same like hardware store,
Yes, at Home Depot or Lowe's. Yes, just go to the gardening section,
and do
and
I
they
just
have
get
all that.
one
That's where the
pack?
peat moss and that's where the compost is going to be anyway in the gardening section.
Do I get one pack of each?
Yeah, you just need one pack because there's many seeds in that one pack. And there are some companies like Haas. Um, there's a lot of different companies. David Wilson. There's a lot of different companies where you can get trees and things ordered, but some of these places won't ship to you because of your area. So what you do is they ship to places in your area where you can go get the trees from you locally,
Okay, I ain't
or
ready for.
somewhere near you
I'm
where
not
they
ready
will
for the
ship you a
trees
tree.
yet. I will. I gotta get the buckets first, and then I may be able to. I mean, I would imagine that after a while, you know, I would be able to probably think about trees,
Hmm.
but right now, I'm trying to just fix my mind on the just the buckets. And so what about do I have to worry about like where I put these
You
buckets
want well,
outside?
some things need to be in direct sunlight, like tomatoes and berries. They like direct sunlight. You know, all berries, strawberries, blueberry, blackberry. Sun, trees, most fruit trees likes direct sun. Um, I
But
find that
mhm,
cabbage and kale, they like the shade. You know, just
mhm,
long as it's daylight outside, they don't care about no direct sun.
mhm. But the three things that
Cabbage,
I'm gonna
kale,
plant in
spinach,
those,
stuff like that.
the three things that I'm gonna try to plant. I mean, well, that I'm gonna do it. The tomatoes, the peppers, and I forgot the third thing you told me
Oh, the
that would be a good.
bell
The
pepper.
bell peppers. Okay. So those three things, though, I can just put them. Is those all three need direct sunlight?
Hmm. Yeah,
And how soon? Okay, and then I just have to water it every day.
not every day, every other day. You don't even probably need no water every other day. You'll stick your because once you stick your that peat moss itself absorbs water. It absorbs water. Okay, so it retains water. So that means your soil will always stay moist. So you really don't have to water your plant, but every probably 3 days.
Well, but
And if
at
you're
first,
like me, it's been raining this spring, so you really don't
mhm,
have to water every 3 days. See what I'm saying? Because the natural water's gonna be cut on.
mhm. How oh yeah, if it rains then I
Right,
don't have to worry about, right.
right.
What about like when it's a heavy
And you want to
rain
try to
and
get you some. I'm sorry. And you want to try to get you something before you say what you was going to say. You want to try to get you something to collect some rainwater as well to put on those plants. That's because rainwater is always better than tap water.
okay. Okay, that's great. Okay. Okay, so all right. So then what about if it rains really hard? Do I need to worry about that it over did, that the rain is too much on those new plants?
No, no, because if you got good drainage, the extra water is just going to drain out the bottom.
Oh,
And the
how
plant
many
is in
holes
the.
do I need to put in the bottom?
It depends if your container. If you buy a container that's already has, where it releases the water, that's good. But if you buy something that doesn't have any holes in it, like a bucket, you want to just probably have like 5 to 7 holes in there in the bottom. The size of a pencil. Something where the water will
Okay.
drain.
Okay. 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 And then those three particular plants need to sit in the daylight, the sunlight. They need to
Yes.
get direct sunlight. Make sure that they're
Yes.
not shaded all day.
Right. Right.
Okay. 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 I'm going to try not to want to learn everything in a day. Do I have to
Oh
worry
yeah, we're
about?
gonna learn this together. We're gonna
Okay.
learn this together. You're gonna see it's not that hard. It's
Okay.
not that hard
How
at
long
all.
do you think before I might see something? Now, it's kind of cold in Chicago today, but yesterday it was kind of warm. Is it a specific time?
What's the temperature up there?
I think it's today, it might be 45.
Whoa. I couldn't be up there. Man, it's 70 degrees down here.
Yeah.
70
I,
something
I
down
gotta,
here.
yeah, I gotta move south. I know already.
Yeah, we've been in the 70s for at least 3 weeks now. So it's
Denise,
warm
what
down here.
temperature is it today?
Currently,
But as far as that, because you don't want to grow tomatoes in the cold.
Yeah, so
They
it's
not
like
they want
48 degrees today, right now.
and peppers. I'm gonna tell you this: peppers not going to even come up in the cold because if the soil is not a certain temperature, they're not going to even start to grow.
So when is a good time, probably temperature
I'm
wise, for
I'm
me
gonna
to?
call you. Well, we're gonna get back on that because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at package because I don't know when your spring really is here. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because when your spring is here, that's when you really want to start. You want to start planting them right when you know that your cold season, your cold snap is over. You want to find out when your last cold date is, when your last freeze date is, and
Okay.
you can look that up online.
Okay. Okay. And
You can ask your phone that. Anybody can ask their phone that. When is my area's last freeze date?
okay. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, so how soon do you think would be a good time for you to show your garden? I'm off work on
Well,
Tuesdays and
I I
Wednesdays.
can do it tomorrow. If I was to go home, I could do it today.
So for me it's like 5:30 almost. So tomorrow around this time would be good, or
That's fine. Tomorrow,
and
or we can go. We can. You work tomorrow.
yeah, I do, but I could be home, I could be home and set up around this time if
Okay. Okay.
if you
Whatever's good with you. I'm trying to figure if I have anything to do. I don't believe I do. I'm not. Well, I don't do what everybody else do. I don't put people in no fear. I don't do stuff like that. I
okay.
believe you go by your own spirit, know what's going on, watch what you watch, see what you see. Be who you are. Be
Hmm.
free. Don't let nobody strap you down.
Hmm.
But keep growing
Yeah. Yeah.
on both levels.
Okay. Well, I certainly appreciate you spending this amount of time with me. I think I have one more question that is related to beginning gardening, and that is the rodents, like any type of bugs or something like that that I have to beware of.
Well, most insects don't like coffee grounds, spent coffee grounds. So it'll ward off that alone will ward off bugs. But if you all have pest uh, uh, problems, what you should do is get some garlic, some mint, some cayenne pepper, and some dishwashing liquid. What you're gonna do is chop those uh, garlics up in the fine place. Or if you got a masher, garlic masher, you use that. Mash 2 or 3 cloves into a pot uh, of water. You know that big pot of water. I don't know the big. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the one you cook in. Mama used to make that spaghetti in the big pot.
Yeah, big pots.
Or
Okay, yeah.
get in that big pot. You can use a pot that size.
Hmm.
And what you do is put that garlic in there, crushed garlic in there, and put it in the blender. Put it
Okay.
all in the blender. The
Okay.
mint, the mint and the garlic. Put it in the blender. Pour it into a pot. Put some water in it. Put some cayenne pepper in there. Boil that for
Hmm.
about 30 minutes.
Hmm.
Take it out. Let it cool down. Put some 2 squirts of dishwashing liquid in there. If
Hmm.
you can find some organic uh, dishwashing liquid, that's better. But
Okay.
put that in there, and when it cools off, put it in a spray bottle and spray your plants with that. That's gonna ward off any insect.
Okay. Okay. It's just spray the plant
Hmm.
and don't bother the plant. It doesn't bother the plant.
Right.
Okay. And how often can you do something like that? Well, you only want to do it if you see bugs,
When you see
right?
them eating your leaves, they're
Yeah.
not gonna probably be eating your leaves once you put that on there.
Okay. And
You know what?
so,
What else you could probably grow?
mhm.
I need to find out if beans are a cold crop.
Well, yeah, well, you got some time to think on that since I don't even know when my last frost date is yet. And then you can we can change the plan of what kind of seeds I get.
Okay.
I don't know if like at this time there people, I know a lot of people are thinking about starting gardens and stuff like that. So I don't know what seeds I like in the stores, but since I don't have to wait to buy seeds, I'll go get seeds as soon as we can make a collective decision on what's the best thing for me to do for starting a garden in 3 pots opposed to down in the ground. And then once I get the 3 pots, then I'll probably try to move to doing something down in the ground. Like, do I have am I able to probably Google? I'm thinking I should be able to Google, how much time I have to, because I guess it's a window of opportunity to plant right in the
Hmm.
ground. So so I'm gonna look into what that time period is, so I can
Yeah,
see
get
if,
back to gardening.
yeah, see
Grow
if I
your
see if I
food,
can plant in the
preserving food.
ground.
Yep, we need to go back to preserving jelly,
Hmm.
jam.
Hmm. Have you done that yet?
Nah, I just spoke to my mom earlier and I told her I wanted to learn, but it's everything is on YouTube. You can learn anything. I don't really have to speak to her, but I just told her I wanted her to be a part of that
Okay,
preserving.
that sounds like a beautiful
Yeah.
thing going on. So,
Hmm.
well, I know you said you had strawberries, so you could do strawberry preserves, right?
And those strawberries are sweet. They don't even taste like strawberries out of the store.
Oh wow! And
It's a,
yeah, I can't wait to see your garden. So
hmm.
yeah, I just so you planted the strawberries last year?
No, I just planted them this year. And you wondered how did I already have strawberries, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, Texas, Texas.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. What a teaser! I tell you. I, I'm appreciating that that you're in a place where you can plant twice a year and get those kinds of results. Yeah.
In South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, they probably got two growing seasons as well.
Yeah.
Georgia, Alabama,
Mhm.
Louisiana,
Mhm.
Florida.
Mhm. Mhm. So, are you going to plant anything else new this year?
Yeah, I have to plant this okra. I haven't even when you see my garden, you'll see it. I only put the trellis up for the cucumbers. I dug the garden out. I tilled it up. I dug it up by just me. Took me 4 hours, me and a shovel. And I went and got my grandson last week and a tiller, and I tilled it up. I tilled it up then, and so now I have to go back, and I really want to add maybe some sand. I'm just thinking I might. I just really don't want to fail this year, y'all, at this garden. That's all. Because the
Uh,
garden that you're gonna see that I have, that one I know it's not gonna fail.
Okay. So
Because I
last
grew in that one last year.
yeah, last year. So how many things happened last year that you did differently this year?
I had cabbage, lettuce,
No, no.
peppers.
Okay.
But the only
Okay.
thing, like I said, they all came up and it all was growing. But I did the soil a little bit better this year.
Okay. So it really wasn't a fail.
No, it was not last year. It wasn't a fail, but I just think this year it'll be a lot better.
It better. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, it just sounds like
And you're gonna get better every year. You're gonna get better because it's just like learning. You learn
yeah.
and you learn to get better, you know?
Mhm. Mhm. Well, I definitely appreciate you, David.
Always.
Sharing your gardening experience and being willing to help a newbie like me try to get into this gardening thing. A lot of people talk about it, and I'm ready to not procrastinate and to get started. And so I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow, if we can get together here tomorrow, so we can actually see your garden and talk some more tomorrow about some of the stuff that I'm sure I'll have more questions
That's what
about.
I need to be doing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. What's that?
Exercise.
Yeah, exercising. Yeah. So I figured gardening is some good exercising,
Oh, it
but
is. You're
yeah.
gonna and you're grounding yourself as well. It's more than just gardening. You're grounding yourself. It's more to it than just gardening. You're
Mhm.
really releasing negative energy.
Mhm.
You're gonna when you start gardening, to me, you become a more balanced, more balanced person.
Mhm.
So
Okay. So what about your grandson? Does he like being out there in the garden?
he's starting. He's young. He's the city kid, so they don't know. They don't know. But it's not his fault. They don't know. I'm gonna teach him. So I consider anything that is on him is on me. So it's not his fault.
Mhm.
So what he don't know and don't like is because of me. I didn't teach him.
Okay. Okay. Sounds like a good policy. And I agree. It makes the commitment to making sure it happen.
Mhm. Indeed,
Mhm.
it's all on us.
Mhm. Thanks, Redbird. Redbird is thanking you. He says good stuff, David.
No, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah.
Compliments and comments are needed and welcome
Hmm.
because it's my first time. And I'm just gonna tell you, I'm just out here walking in this alley,
Okay.
being me.
All right. Well, I do. Like I said, I'm definitely appreciating you today,
Always.
and so I'm gonna go ahead and ask you. I actually, you said so many wise things already and given us so much, but I like you to go ahead and give some final words, and then I'll go ahead and end the stream, and then I'll be back in touch with you before we go live tomorrow.
Well, I'm not good at no final words because I don't ever believe it's gonna be final. But anyway, I tell y'all what, growing, get back to who we are. Know thyself. You know, I believe that if we start this together, we're gonna finish this together. You understand? We need to be together. Stop being apart. Stick together. We are American Indians. Be that. Stop being black.